Alright, so we are back here with part 2 of this tutorial. I'm hoping you watched the first part. If you didn't, I'd highly recommend on doing so. You get to see all these screw-ups I did and probably have a couple of good laughs and be like, I can't believe I'm letting this guy mentor me. And honestly, I'd be like, yeah, I know, right, dude? So anyways, the first part of the tutorial is basically if we threw 2 of these game objects into this area right here, this door will open. And so I'm actually going to show you that right now. Come on, Scooter. There we go. So I'm actually going to expand these out. I'm going to click on this game object. I'm going to throw it here. That one has been destroyed. I'm then going to move this one here and move it on top of there as well. The door opens. So you can use this to, if you're trying to keep the player from going somewhere until they do a certain thing, you can make a door open. Can actually be pretty useful. This one is actually going to be a little more time consuming. Basically is what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set it up where this is going to be a wall made of different components and it's going to crumble. And so once it crumbles, it'll allow the player access to get through. So I'm going to drag my little cube down in here. I'm going to call this wall complete. Now, there's 2 different ways you can do this. I'm actually going to show you this way first, because I think it's cooler. Or, this is actually similar to the way I set up my destructible wall. I don't know if any of you have seen that. I hope you have seen that. So this will give you an idea on how to do that. Set this to convex, and I'm actually going to type in rigid body. I'm going to make the mass 1000, okay, there we go. The drag will be 1200, and the angular drag will be 1200, and we will be using gravity. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control D. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm actually going to move this out, press and hold down the V key, and get it down on this corner. I'm going to snap it to this corner. I will then click on this, Control D, hold down the V key, snap it to here, and I'm going to select all 4 of these, Control D, hold down the V key, and snap it. Now with all of these here, is what you can do from there is Control D, and I'm going to snap that down there. I'm going to do this again, Control V, Control D, move this up, V, and snap. There we go. There. Okay, so actually I'm probably going to want these a little bit thinner, so let me go ahead and click on all of these real quick, and I'm going to make them thin. There we go. So this way, little bastards. Alright, so this way, this is going to be a wall object that the player cannot pass. And the way I'm going to do this is going to be a little bit more complicated, but it's going to look really cool. So we actually need to delete this animation component, or actually, you don't have to type this. Oops. 1 second, please. Okay, so you do not have to type this line. I am doing this, so whenever I start this, it won't see an animation 2 up here, and this will prevent me from basically getting a null reference check whenever it does a trigger check down here. In fact, I actually need to add that line of code up here. M2 does not equal null. There we go. Awesome. Okay. And something else I want to show you. So this should actually be indented. If you ever have your code looking like this because of how much you've had to change it, highlight all the code you want to fix. You're going to hold down Control and press K. That is K as in kilo. Then hold down Control and press F. F as in foxtrot. So doing that will automatically fix the indentation for you. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is right here I'm going to say, well, first is what I need to do before I say anything. I'm going to say public rigid body RB. I'm going to say RB equals rb.getComponent, and the component type we are getting is of a rigid body this time. And as what I'm going to say is, if rb is not equal null, then we're going to do something. Okay, there we go. And so, once again, I'm going to show you how to do an animation as well as creating a rigid body. The reason why you might want to use a rigid body, if you know they won't be able to throw anything at it and break it or make it look weird, use a rigid body. If you know that you do have extremely massive objects in your scene, use an animator. So this way, if you have an animator and they throw something at it, it's not going to change its state. If they don't have anything real heavy to throw at it, then a rigid body is probably going to be the best way to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to say rb dot... You know what, we're going to do this, but I'm going to show you how to make it really cool looking. So the first thing you want to do is say rb.drag equals 0, and we're going to say rb.angularDrag equals 0.05f. There we go. And so, so we have trigger check. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. So if this is going to be for your wall, is what you can do. Let's say you have 3 objects you're going to throw at it. I'll explain that here in just a second. It doesn't matter. So we're going to say start coroutine. That's going to be rigid break. So the rigid break is actually going to make the wall appear as if it's crumbling. So we're going to say enumerator, and we're going to say rigid break. We're going to say rb.drag equals 1, rb.angularDrag equals 1. Then we're going to say, if I can backspace enough, you bastard, there we go, yield return new, wait 4 seconds, and we're going to say 0.05, there we go. Then we're going to say rb.drag equals 1000. We're going to say rb.angularDrag equals 1000. I'm then going to come back up here and fix my error, because I seem to be really good at making those today. Look at this. This is terrible. What is my deal? Okay, so anyways, so now we have the rigid break in place. And so now is what I need to do is wait for this to finish. And actually I screwed up. We actually need to create a for loop because each one of these objects has a rigid body. So we're going to add that little guy. This will be very important here in just a minute. Okay, so I need to create a for loop. So we're going to say for int equals int I equals 0. Crap, Jimmy, come on. It's less than rb dot length. We're going to say I plus plus. There we go. Awesome. I. Blah. Blasphemous. Okay, there we go. So, that is a for loop. And then we're going to come down here. And we're going to have to do the same thing here. So, is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and create our for loop. For int equals I. Int I equals 0. There we go. And then we're going to say I is less than rb dot length I plus plus. then we're going to have to add it one more place. So I'm going to Control C on that. Control V. Control... No, not Control. I need the swirly brackets, Jimmy. Alright. So I'm just going to cheese this a little bit. There we go. There. Okay. So, now that we have done that, and I have almost thoroughly lost my mind, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to shift select all of these and make sure they're all shift selected this time. Wait, no I'm not. I'm actually going to click on this guy, because this one has my rigid body. See, it's 0. That is okay. Is what I want to do is, there's this little lock icon, click on that. Doing so will allow you to click anywhere, and it will not change the inspector on what's being showed. So now I'm going to click all these objects. I'm going to drag them here to RB. And now you can see they're all here. Once you have done that, uncheck that or unlock it so this way it can function. And we're going to hit play and see what happens. Hopefully I've done this right. So we should actually see that wall start to crumble. So I'm going to click on this. Oh wait, I had the right thing selected. Should see that wall start to crumble a little bit. It might be going too fast. There we go. That should be plenty. That door opened. And then we come here. Now here comes a moment of truth. Did I do this right? Honestly, I have no idea. We are about to find out. So the wall didn't break. I'm not getting an error message, so that's a plus. We click on one of these little guys. So that's still set at 1,000. Let me go ahead and click on... Oh, wait. Not that. I need cube object destroy. Yeah, so that should have actually destroyed it. Let me come back in here and take a look at what's going on. So what I'm going to do is, let me click on, I might just be, it may have actually been something that whenever I started it, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Whenever I started it, or, and started duplicating, it may have just been one of those things that it didn't quite register. Nope, that's not it, because if it did, then this value would change. So let's go in here and see what's going on. Okay. If trigger check is less than int check, then we will do the coroutine. So I think that's what was going on, is doing this, and this is probably going by so fast that you don't even see it. So let me go back in here real quick. Basically, I changed this value from 0.05 to 0.2. Because what was going on here is it would do the open, and so we were hitting this, but then it would simply come right back here, start the coroutine, and do all this in just like a millisecond, basically. And so now if I have done this right, we should see the wall crumble, because the script looks correct, but for some odd reason it's not doing what I want it to do. Yeah, no. So, oh no, that is correct. Why did you not fall? You make a mockery of me. So in theory, I should just be able to grab this little guy. Okay. Let me grab these little guys. That should be what you're going to end up seeing. But we're not seeing that because apparently today I suck. Okay, so let me go ahead and that should be 15. Move these up just a little bit. And that will be 23. Move these up 2 pixels. I know that was a little more than 2 pixels, but you know what? I don't care. So I'm actually going to do that. So there's just a slight gap right here. 16? Yeah, 16. So we're just going to have a slight gap. And so now, you know what? I'm actually going to move the wall over here. So the player, so that way you can see it over here. And you can see what happens as soon as I throw this in here. And then I'll show you what happens whenever we change the trigger, check them out. So I'm going to click on this guy. I'm going to throw it over here. Okay, I do not understand this. Yeah, because that's normal. So, for some odd reason, that's not doing what it's supposed to do. I'm like, it is, but it's not doing what I'm wanting it to do. So I think is what what needs to happen is probably need to intersect them just a little bit. Let's see, 16 to 23. Okay, let's see what happens with this. We should get something weird looking. Oh yeah. Okay, so now is what I can do. There we go. Test it out real quick. Yeah, see, this is weird because, you know, whenever I walk into them, that's when you see them actually interact. So, that is extremely weird. We should not be getting that. And if you're wondering, it only does that whenever it's called upon. So if I were just to try and do this regularly, as you can see, nothing's going to happen. But basically, is what's going on right now is, for some odd reason, it is not doing what I want it to do. And I honestly have no clue why. Let me see something real quick here. I'm going to see if this pops up out of the ground. Yep, it sure does. So, let's go ahead and try this one more time. Yep, that's what I thought. And see, here's what's weird is now these are all set where they need to be. So, is what I'm going to suggest, we're going to say, we're going to create another game object, because I have honestly never seen this before. Well, but then again, my destructible wall had something hitting it, which would cause it to interact, so, yeah. Game object, and it's going to be called RB break. And so is what we're going to do. Let me see, how do I want to do this? We won't need this anymore because we're not really interacting anything with it. But we will say RB break dot set active true, and then actually we will need this crudbrums, but we won't need all this. We're just going to say the whole yield wait for seconds thing right here. So I'm going to share, if I can fix this. Oh, yeah, and here's where that comes into play. Control K, Control F, boom, done. Okay, we're going to say RB break dot set active false. We're going to change this to 05, so it's just going to flash real quick. you won't be able to see it because I'm actually going to get rid of the thing. I'm trying to think what that thing's called. I'm going to get rid of the mesh render, so you won't even be able to see it. True. And then we're going to say, start coroutine, rigid break. Get rid of that, and then we're going to say that needs to happen. Where are you at? Right here. Control S. And so now what we need to do is we need to create a game object that is the size of that wall. Once this finishes compiling, of course. We're just going to create that right here, just where it barely intersects. And so then I'm going to say scale out, scale up, move this down right there. And then we're going to say, this is convex, but we do not want the mesh renderer on it. You suck. Okay, so we're going to remove this. Then we're going to move that, and we're going to remove this. So now all that's really there is really just a mesh collider. In fact, we can go and change that to a box collider because we don't want it to render all that extra crap. You bastard. You beautiful, beautiful bastard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Oops, wrong one. I'm going to move that here. I'm going to move that up. There we go. Now I was really hoping this would have lined up a lot better than what it did. It just would have been nice. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. So now, when we hit play, I should be able to grab this cube over here and hit it, and that should just flash for a quick second. Oh, I missed. Really? Basically, because I missed, I screwed up. So, click on this. Really? Oh, right. That's my bad. Okay. So, there's another... You know what? I just need to add like a counter to these videos so y'all can see how many times I screw up. There we go. I cannot believe I forgot to add that. I feel like a dumbass again. Okay, now check this out. Kaploop. And kaplooey. Now, you can also make this a lot more spectacular. This is just an example. You can do all sorts of things. So, for instance, if I took this cube, let me get rid of this component. I'm also going to get rid of this component. So this is basically just a game object. But I'm going to type in sphere collider. Now here's where we have fun. I move this here. I move this here. I click on wall. I move wall up. I click play. And I think y'all are going to like this. It would really help if you make sure that's set to inactive. So, I click here. I click here. I bring that here. And kaplooey. So you can already see how that's much, much better. And the reason why the box collider didn't work because I forgot to make the game object inactive. So that's how you can do a wall. Real quickly, I'm going to show you how to... Crap, I'm already at 25 minutes. So I'm actually probably going to make a part 3 on how to animate a wall because that's going to take some time. And hopefully I'll see you in that video. Until next time.